wouldn't want to be their own boss? I love being my own boss. I call the shots. I'm the big dog.
We eat and breathe and talked about trucking in my family at breakfast, dinner, and lunch. I asked my dad after school, Dad, I want to be a truck driver. He said, that's good, that's nice, but you're not going to be a truck driver. First you go out and learn something else. That was his answer. If you get some experience, understand what life is about, you're not ready yet. That's what he told me.
It suits my personality, okay? I don't like sitting in an office, for starters, you know? I don't like being in fluorescent lights. I mean, all of that is just, it depresses me, you know? Being out in the truck, I'm out in the open, I'm out in the sunshine. I love driving. I mean, I used to spend hours in my car driving around just because I love driving. So now I get paid for it. Are you kidding me?
As long as I can remember, when I was a kid, I always liked to watch trucks going down the road and down the street. And we used to go to my grandma's house and get on the freeway there, and I'd always sit in the back seat looking out the back window watching the trucks follow us. So I've always had an interest in, trucking.
It's fun. Just being on the road to me, it's not a job. It's just me having fun. I've always loved to drive. I was always the one as a little kid behind my grandfather's truck, like, I can do this, just a little pickup truck. Thought I was doing something.
I love the adventure. I mean, every day I get to do my own thing. As long as I get to where I got to be at the end, the freedom to kind of leisurely do it. And the people I meet are great. So it's definitely an adventure.
America is a beautiful country. It has longer distance. The roads are longer. I drove over the road in Germany, but I always had in mind, not knowing ending up here, America is the world to drive a truck.
I love going from mountainous areas into flatlands as well. I mean, you can be in one geographical area and just be driving, and next thing you know, 10 minutes later, the whole area has changed. And that's something I like about trucking as well.
Your word is your worth. Bob Baylor's favorite saying back in the early days, he would say that to us constantly. You told that customer you were going to pick their freight up. Go pick their freight up. No matter what it cost me, do what you said you were going to do. Your word is your worth.
A professional driver is someone who can represent our company as well as themselves. They're somebody who, whenever you walk into a shipper or consignee, and they exemplify Baylor.
They have to make sure that every load gets delivered on time, gets delivered safely, and that takes a lot of professional skill to do.
What I think makes a good driver is patience. Definitely patience and courtesy. Because that's one thing I did have to learn in trucking was patience. I'll get to where I got to get to. I got plenty of time to get there. Patience with drivers, with shippers, with dispatch.
I would have to agree with her on that one. There's so little of it out there these days.
The moment when you roll into this customer's lot, that's where you halt, start pumping. Then you can call yourself a driver. If you just get there for the paycheck, then go somewhere else, do the other job.
You do need a lot of dedication, and you need to be responsible. You have to be aware. You have to be able to manage your time very well, be accountable to not only the company, but your customers, and the willingness and the desire to be the best you can be.
We used to have a drop yard in Hamilton, Ohio. I'd probably been here about 5 years at the time, and I was waiting for a driver to bring me a trailer. And this truck came in, Baylor truck, and I thought it was the trailer I was waiting for. And the gentleman parked the truck, and he got out, and I realized it was an elder gentleman. And I was sitting in my truck, and he got out, and he started walking over towards my truck. And he introduced himself as Chester Baylor, and I had never met him up to that point. And I was like, oh, really? You're like a legend around here, And we got talking. He asked me how long I'd been here. I said I'd been working for Bob for about 5 years. And he asked me how it was going. I said, well, it's going good. I mean, Baylor's treat me good. I mean, I'm happy. And he said, well, he better. He said, because if he doesn't, I'm going to beat him up, you know. And but that's just the way Baylor trucking is. You know, it's like, you know, I'd come in off the road and Bob Baylor would come up, put his arm around me and ask me how I'm doing, call me by my first name. You know, that's a lot when you're working in a company like this. I mean, if you work for a really big company, you're just a number. You know, they don't know your name. You know, here I come here, everybody knows who I am. They know my name. You know, I kind of feel like a rock star when I'm here. That feels good.
The only thing we got to sell is service in the trucking business. You don't have a product to sell, you have a service to sell. If you have a load that's supposed to be in there at a certain time, the people want it there at a certain time. So that was the only thing that we did, and we tried to give the people we work for the service they wanted, and that's the reason we never had any trouble getting any business.
So whatever I do, I try to excel in it. It's like I said, I want to leave a lasting impression on you, and I want it to be a great impression. So I'm going to excel in what I do. Failure's not an option. If I go and I speak to you, I'll see you look like you're having a bad day. I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to say, hey, how you doing? And I'm really going to wait for you to tell me how you're doing. It's not one of those, hey, how you doing? I'm out of here. No, I want to know, how are you doing? Because I want you to ask me, because I've got a long list of things that's going on, So, yeah, I'm going to make friends everywhere I go.
And this guy on the forklift, he would just go out of his way to try to make my day miserable, And I'd go in there just happy, and I'd laugh at him and just tell him to have a good day, And the funny thing was, I went there on a regular basis. We started out, he was just the most mean person you ever want to deal with. By the end of the time I was going there, I got to know a little about him. I got to know his life story. He opened up to me. It was just funny. I'd go in the morning and I knew right where the coffee was. And I'd go in the break room and get a cup of coffee, and he'd be in there with his friends, and he'd be like, I'm not ready for you. Go back to your truck. I'm like, I'm just coming in for a cup of coffee. I'm not trying to mess with you. I know you need your space for a little bit, but it's just, you kind of just have to go in there and take everything with a grain of salt and be nice to everybody, and because a lot of these people, they just don't like their job. And, if you don't like your job and you go to work and you're miserable, But I enjoy my job. I really like trucking, and, I get up in the morning and I've already had my coffee because I have my own coffee pot. I can make my own breakfast. So I've had breakfast, I've had coffee, I'm ready to go, start my day, and I just go in there with a good mood and a good attitude, and it, and then maybe it makes their day a little better,
The legacy that my grandfather started and my dad helped build was maximizing the gifts that God has given them to make a difference. And trucking has been a means to help do that.
A year ago, I went to bring some food and relief for the people in Houston, Texas, after the hurricane. To see everybody came over and started unloading the trailer. They were so happy to see me crying, and I cried with them. And I asked them, is anybody haven't eaten breakfast or something? They said, no, we was waiting for you to come over. So you guys haven't eaten anything? No, we haven't. So I went out there, it was a Burger King close by. I went out there and get 30 sandwiches. 30 people enjoying that meal. That's kind of touching for me. And I haven't eaten anything at the moment, but seeing them eating, it fills me up from the inside and out. That's important. That's something that I learned when I was growing up. My grandma and my mother say, whoever is hungry, feed him. Whoever is thirsty, give him some water. And I keep that on my mind all the time.
Veterans are part of our structure at Baylor because it's who we are. Since my grandfather was a veteran and my dad was a veteran, the key to us being successful over 70 years later and 3 generations is staying true to our roots.
Hiring veterans is very important because they just do a fantastic job. They've been disciplined, and they understand the hard work that goes behind this kind of a job.
I was in the Navy. I did 6 years. I was a fire control radar technician. I did 1 tour in Desert Shield, 2 tours in Desert Storm. So spent most of my time in the Persian Gulf guarding the 23rd parallel.
Veterans make great truck drivers because they have a level of discipline and a level of problem solving and self-dependence. They've learned the skills necessary to survive in desperate, hostile situations, deal with all kinds of weather types, deal with difficult people, and resolve conflict. So for that, they make great truck drivers because they're able to problem solve on their own and adapt and overcome quickly.
It can be very complicated. They're away from their families, just like they were when they were veterans, whether they're driving now or are veterans now. It's very similar. They almost mirror each other.
Well, as soon as I get into the Army, they noticed that I was good driving vehicles. So they got me sent to a school to get the license for those vehicles. For every single vehicle in the military, you have to qualify for it. So that's what I started.
The military for me was not a job. It was fun. I loved it. You know, like I said, just to excel so fast in, you know, where I was at, it was wonderful. And people looked up to me. I could get things done that some other people couldn't get because I had rapport with every supply room out there. So it's like, oh, you need this? Hold on, I'll go get it for you, where other people couldn't do it. So when I got out, it was, okay, I have to find something else that's fun.
My son's been in the Marines for 13 years. So a very big part of my heart is happy Baylor's involved with the veterans. Like the drivers, the military, the sacrifices are enormous. And they don't necessarily always have the support that they deserve. So when you work for a company and you're part of a company who is big in backing the military, it's huge. The fact that the wall's gonna be here is amazing. There's people who will never be able to go to Washington, D.C. and see it. There's people whose families have served and that are on that wall that, you know, their grandfathers or their uncles, and now they get to see it in person. It's an amazing part of history that is right here in Indiana. It means a lot.
The words that I kept thinking were, live the legacy. Live the legacy. So I'm so proud of what my grandfather started and what my dad built, and I feel honored to be part of that today, and I'm so grateful to all the men and women that help make a difference and help us accomplish these things.
Well, I'm most proud of that the people that work for the family and the outside people. People don't work for you for 35 years unless they're satisfied some way. I've had people work for me up in the 30s of years, so I must be doing something right, and they must be doing something right. So
I'm proud of the fact that people buy into the fact that we've been in business since 1945 and want to be a part of it. And I'm thankful for the fact that they want to carry that torch forward and continue it on for many more years.
They're the reason we have a job. They're the reason that we have food in our grocery stores. Baylor wouldn't be Baylor without the drivers. America wouldn't be America without the drivers.
Every day we get up to be of service to them because they're doing a job that other people can or won't do. Their job is so hard, their job is so challenging, and they're so essential to our country and to our economy. They are loved, they are respected.
I think every family of a truck driver deserves a huge thank you from us and everybody else in the society. They have to also be committed to the mission that the driver's on. Without their support, it's hard to be away from your house, being lonely on the road, without a strong support network at home to keep you going.
If I could say one thing to the families, I would say thank you for sharing your driver with us.
To have one special week, one special day, one special month to show an appreciation is really not enough. That appreciation needs to be shown daily for what you do. We appreciate everything that you do for us here at Baylor Trucking.
Driver appreciation might be a week, and this might be a one-night party, but they're in our hearts every day. So I want the message to come through that they're special and respected and cherished every day. And this isn't just a weekly or annual thing. My dad would say, I salute you. I know without a doubt my dad would say, I salute you.